Have you ever asked yourself, am I truly content with who I am? It's a question that might seem simple at first glance but carries the weight of our existence. It's the cornerstone of self-reflection and introspection, a process that requires courage and honesty. It's about peeling back the layers of our lives, confronting our truths, and daring to question our status quo. This process of introspection is not meant to be comfortable. It's about challenging our comfort zones, pushing our boundaries, and confronting the parts of ourselves we've been avoiding. But it's also a path to growth, self-improvement, and ultimately, contentment. Let me share with you a personal story. A few years ago, I found myself stuck in a rut. I was dissatisfied with my life but couldn't understand why. I had a good job, a loving family, a comfortable home. Yet something was amiss. One day, I asked myself that very question. Am I truly content with who I am? And the answer shook me to my core. No, I wasn't. I realized I was living a life that others expected of me, not the one I wanted for myself. I was wearing a mask, hiding my true desires and ambitions. That question sparked a journey of self-discovery and change. I started questioning my choices, my values, my relationships. I began to peel away the layers of my life, one by one, until I found my true self. It was a challenging journey, filled with self-doubt and fear. But it was also liberating and empowering. I began to make changes, small at first, then bigger ones. I started living a life true to myself. And so I found that the first step towards changing my life was daring to question it. Once we've dared to ask the tough questions, it's time to face the answers. For me, it meant confronting my bad habits. Bad habits, they're like quicksand, aren't they? They pull us down, slow our progress, and if left unchecked, can consume us entirely. We all have them, and they come in all shapes and sizes. Some are visible, like smoking or overeating. Others are more subtle, like procrastination or self-doubt. But no matter their form, they all serve as barriers to our personal development. Allow me to share a personal story. I was a chronic procrastinator. I'd put off tasks until the last minute, convincing myself that I worked best under pressure. In reality, I was simply avoiding the discomfort of starting. This habit was not only affecting my productivity, but also causing unnecessary stress. The strategy I used to overcome this habit was simple but not easy. I started small. For every task, I'd set a timer for just 5 minutes and commit to working until the buzzer sounded. Most of the time, I found that once I'd started, it was easier to keep going. But the journey wasn't smooth. There were days when I slipped back into old patterns. Days when the comfort of procrastination was more appealing than the discomfort of starting. But I kept reminding myself of why I started this journey in the first place. Every setback was a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. And then, one day, I realized I was no longer dreading the start. The task I'd once viewed as a mountain was now just a series of small, manageable hills. I'd broken my bad habit of procrastination, and it felt like a victory. Breaking a bad habit is a journey filled with challenges and triumphs. It's about persistence, not perfection. It's about embracing the discomfort of change for the comfort of growth. It's about realizing that every habit was once a choice, and every choice is a chance to change. Breaking a bad habit is not a one-day affair, it's a journey. But trust me, it's a journey worth taking. Getting rid of bad habits is only half the battle. The real challenge lies in replacing them with good ones. Good habits serve as the foundation for personal development. They are the building blocks of a successful life and the fuel that propels us forward. Just as a sturdy house cannot be built on a weak foundation, a fulfilling life can't be crafted without the support of healthy habits. Let's delve into a personal journey, a tale of transformation through the cultivation of a good habit. Picture a life smothered by the vice of procrastination, a life where tasks pile up, deadlines are missed, and stress levels surge. This was a reality once lived. The challenge was clear: overcoming procrastination, a bad habit deeply ingrained and seemingly insurmountable. The first step in the quest to develop a good habit was to acknowledge the issue. From there, it was about devising a strategy. The Pomodoro technique was adopted, a method where work is broken down into manageable intervals, usually 25 minutes, separated by short breaks. This approach made tasks less daunting, and the ticking timer created a sense of urgency that countered the urge to delay. The journey was not without its hurdles. There were days when it felt like the old habit was winning. But the key was resilience, the ability to bounce back and persist. Slowly but surely, The habit of procrastination began to crumble, replaced by a newfound discipline. The difference was profound. Tasks were completed on time, stress levels dropped, and a sense of accomplishment pervaded each day. The transformation was not just about becoming more productive, it was about becoming a better version of oneself. However, remember this: cultivating a good habit is not a one-time event. It's a continuous process, a journey that requires commitment and patience. It's about making a choice every day to stick to the path you've chosen, even when the going gets tough. Cultivating good habits isn't easy, but the rewards are immeasurable. The journey may be challenging, but the destination is worth every struggle. It's about embracing growth, one habit at a time. Our relationships can shape us for better or for worse. I learned this the hard way. There's a certain truth we often ignore, and that is the profound impact our relationships have on our personal growth. Toxic relationships in particular can stunt our development, clouding our judgment and poisoning our self-worth. They're like weeds in a garden, choking out the beautiful flowers we could become. Let me share a chapter from my own life. There was once a person who was very close to me. We shared laughs, dreams, and even tears. But over time I began to notice a pattern. This person would belittle my aspirations, question my decisions, and amplify my insecurities. They cast a shadow over my life, and it was a shadow that I allowed. Eventually I recognized the toxicity of this relationship. It wasn't an easy realization, and it was even harder to act upon it. But the day I decided to step away, I felt a burden lift from my shoulders. It was as if I had been carrying a heavy backpack for miles, and suddenly I was allowed to put it down. The space that this person once occupied in my life started to fill up with positivity. I found room for self-improvement, for nurturing my passions, and most importantly, for self-love. I realized that I had been wearing a pair of glasses that distorted my view of the world and myself. Removing them allowed me to see clearly, to see my worth, my potential. Ending a toxic relationship can feel like losing a part of yourself, but in reality, it's about gaining back your true self, the one that was obscured by negativity and self-doubt. It's about breaking free from the chains that hold you back and stepping into the light of self-discovery. Letting go of toxic relationships isn't about blaming others. It's about choosing yourself. Because at the end of the day, you are your longest commitment. You owe it to yourself to cultivate relationships that foster growth, not hinder it. You owe it to yourself to be happy. Self-love isn't about being selfish. It's about respecting yourself enough to know what you deserve. Let's take a moment to unwrap this. Self-love at its core is a deep and profound acceptance of oneself. It's about acknowledging our strengths, embracing our weaknesses, and realizing that we are not defined by our flaws. Now I'd like to share a personal journey with you, a journey towards self-love. It wasn't always easy. In fact, it was riddled with obstacles and challenges. There were moments of self-doubt, moments where I questioned my worth, my abilities, my very existence. But these moments, as dark as they were, also served as a catalyst, a driving force propelling me towards change. The first step was acceptance. Accepting that I was not perfect, and that's okay. Accepting that it's okay to make mistakes, to have flaws, to be human. The next step was forgiveness. Forgiving myself for past mistakes, for not living up to my own or others' expectations. Forgiveness is not about forgetting. It's about letting go of the burden of past mistakes, freeing ourselves from the shackles of regret, and allowing ourselves to move forward. The final step was appreciation. Appreciating my strengths, my talents, my uniqueness. Appreciating the journey, the growth, the learning. Appreciating myself for who I am, for who I've become. Throughout this journey, there were strategies that helped. Mindfulness, for instance, helped me stay grounded in the present moment, focusing on the now rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Positive affirmations served as a reminder of my worth, my capabilities, my potential. And finally, surrounding myself with positive influences, people who uplifted, motivated, and believed in me, even when I found it hard to believe in myself. In the end, the journey towards personal development is really a journey towards self-love. And you, my friend, are worth it.